Today is Saturday the 17th of July, 2021. I'm Keith War, and welcome to another episode of Homeless on the Space Coast. And today I'm being joined by, what is your name, sir?
Chuck Lovejoy.
Chuck Lovejoy. And how old are you, Chuck?
61.
61. And where did you grow up?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're not from Titusville originally?
No.
And what brought you here to Titusville of all places?
I joined the Navy when I was 17, and my parents moved to Florida here in Titusville.
Okay.
So when I got out, I came down here.
Oh, okay. And were your parents in the space industry, or?
No, my father was an iron worker. They both passed away last December. So that's how I wound up being where I'm at right now.
So December 2020, they both passed?
Yes, they did.
And was it an accident? Like, did they die in an accident, or they just happened to die close to each other?
Real close to each other, old age, and granddaughter got their house and vehicle and stuff. Of course, she's got a couple small kids, and so that was the best for them.
Okay. And how about you? Have you ever been married? Do you have any children?
Oh yeah, I was married, and my wife died about 4 years ago. Emphysema and a bunch of chest problems. And I've got 5 kids right now, and they're all grown kids of their own, so grandkids running around.
How many years were you married?
24.
24 years. And the children you had, these were all with this the lady that died?
2 different wives, one before her and her.
Okay. And how long was that marriage?
7 years.
Okay. So you spend most of your life married as a married person?
Sure did.
Okay. And your children, you said you had 5 of them? And are they here in Titusville, or are they in Florida? Or?
In Florida, my son moved up to Deltona, and 2 daughters live in Titusville, and the other 2 live down in Cocoa.
Okay. And what kind of work have you done to support yourself all your life?
The military for 4 years, and when I got out, did some iron work, and I was a crane operator out at Port Canaveral.
Okay, so that must have paid pretty well, right?
Well, $18 an hour, but a lot of overtime.
Okay. And when's the last time you had a job? Because you said you've been on disability now for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been about 6 years.
Okay. And so you were doing the iron work when you got hurt?
Well, I was running the cranes when I got hurt, and I was being a flagman for another operator, and a big load of rebar snatched me, busted my leg.
So this was a workers' comp?
Yeah.
Type thing.
In the hospital I went, and turned over at workman's comp, and then I went to disability after that, because 100% can't get around.
Okay. So what was your life like when you worked? Like, did you own a big home? Did you have a lot of cars? Did you go on vacations?
Well, a few vacations. Never owned a home or anything. Rented our whole life, and just regular everyday stuff. Nothing special.
Okay. And had you gone to college?
No.
No, you don't
high
have
school.
A degree or? Okay.
A GED.
Okay. And what did you do in the Navy?
Equipment operator in the Navy. I was a bosun's mate.
Okay.
They had cranes on board the ship, Simon Lake. And they had,
I was on the Canopus, and you were on the Simon Lake. Yours was AS
33, yes, sir.
And mine was 34.
Small world.
Yeah. And then I was on the Frank Cable, which was AS 40.
Well, so you saw the cranes. They had 2 little shore cranes on the back, missile cranes in the middle, and shore cranes up front.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the one ship I was on had missile plugs and would take the missiles out of the subs and all that kind of stuff. So I think the Simon Lake did some of the similar stuff.
It sure did.
So, wow. I remember bosun's mate. They would say, what's your rate, bosun mate? Pick your fate, chip or paint.
That's the truth, too. There was a lot of that going on.
A lot of chipping and painting, and they'd call them deck apes and everything else, So what rank did you make it to 3rd class by chance?
I did, made it to E4.
And that's pretty tough thing to do. And when you were in, you said you were in, what, 76 to 80?
Yeah, they just started letting women on the boat when I was getting off.
And during that time, you probably saw a lot of guys that didn't even graduate from high school. They had been in the military 20 years. They were 20 years seamen, never made it past E3.
There certainly was a bunch of them like that.
And to think, here you are, maybe 21, 22 years old, and you're supervising this guy that's in his late 30s, about to retire.
They didn't appreciate it, but
Yeah, I bet. So you didn't like the military that much, or why did you get out? How and why did you get out?
A couple of friends of mine and myself were smoking pot on the helo deck up in the North Atlantic, and sure enough got caught. So next thing I knew, in the brig we had to go, and kicked out with a bad conduct discharge. So it wasn't really good after that.
So you lost everything. You lost all your VA benefits.
I did.
And the rank that you made, you couldn't re-enlist. You had no options.
Yep.
And did that follow you around your whole life, trying to get a job and stuff? Did that make it more difficult, or did no one really ask?
Well, as long as you didn't really tell anybody what went on, you know, and never claimed to be in the military, no, it doesn't really bother you.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear in a lot of ways, but, you know...
well, you don't want to tell everybody you were smoking weed and got kicked out.
Yeah, right. No, it's not exactly something to be proud of, for sure. And how about any of your children? Any of your children follow in your footsteps and join the military?
No, they all wised up. They all got regular jobs.
Regular jobs. Did they go to college? Any of them go to college to get degrees?
No, they just high school grads.
Okay. And you find yourself out here now. Now you've gone from living a normal existence, what most people consider normal, and now you're homeless out here on the streets of Titusville.
Yeah.
And how long have you been homeless?
Probably 3 years now.
You've been homeless for 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Off and on, like full-time out in the woods homeless, or are we talking couch surfing?
Couch surfing mostly, yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been totally bottom of the barrel, sleeping under the bridge or on the street homeless?
Last 6 months.
Okay. And what is the cause of your homelessness now? Do you have a substance abuse problem?
Yeah, still doing a little bit of drugs, this and that, you know, and kind of just gave up on everything for a little while.
What's the drug that you're struggling with?
Crack cocaine.
Crack, yeah. And how long ago was the first time you ever tried crack cocaine?
Oh shoot, it's been probably 3 years.
So from that time, everything kind of just went down?
Sure did. I'm trying my best to get off of that stuff and stay away. Panhandling for money right now just to try and, you know, get by for me and my girl.
And what would you say you would generally spend a daily average on crack? Oh
goodness, he could spend $100. He could panhandle $100 and spend the whole thing within a couple hours.
What makes it so attractive? Why do you think so many people go to it? What is it about crack that is so attractive?
I don't know. I guess it's just that instant big head rush high you get, you know, and then you're just chasing it the rest of the time. It really doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, I've heard other people on the street explain it to me, like the first time you get, like, say you go a week without it and you get high that first time, it's a really big high, and then if you get high 9 more times, it'll never be as good as that first one, and you can just never achieve it.
Yep, that's the truth. But you keep on trying.
But you try. Yeah, you try. So have you gone without eating and things like that to get it? Like,
I sure have. I can get a bunch of money, and instead of buying something to eat, besides this hamburger that you got for me, I'd just go spend it all on crack, because then you're not hungry, you know. Okay.
So it distracts your mind from food and some of your other worries and wants and things like that.
Yes.
And of course, I don't want you to tell her story. I want you to tell your story. But you are out here with another person.
You're right, a real good friend.
Okay. Well, you said a lady friend. We'll just kind of leave it at that. But so tell me how that dynamic works. Like, what is that like? Trying to, like, do you guys look out for each other?
We do as much as possible.
And you know, and she's a lady. Being out here on these streets, I know, like, sometimes, you know, women have been victims of sexual assault and things like that.
I got her back.
Okay. So, what kind of things, like, have you had any crimes committed against you by any of the people out here on the streets? Or?
No, I sure haven't. Luckily,
So you haven't been robbed? You haven't been beat up?
No, I'm big enough to take care of myself pretty much.
Okay, so no sexual assaults or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And how do you generally keep yourself safe out here?
You just stay pretty much in the daylight and away from most of the really riff-raff type of people that, you know, won't even talk to you. Okay.
I guess stay away from areas that some people would refer to as the hood.
Right.
Here in Titusville. So what do you usually fill your day with? Like, what do you? So give me a timeline. You wake up. What time do you usually wake up?
Probably about 8 in the morning.
Okay, and then what do you do then?
We started hustling for money.
Okay.
Hustling.
So you don't take a shower, brush your teeth, and it's immediately from like I mean, because most people kind of have a daily routine, and I don't think a lot of them can comprehend what life is like for someone like yourself. So
you really can't keep a daily routine out here. If you get a chance to get in the shower or in a bathroom and splash yourself, and wash up a little bit, that's good. I haven't shaved in quite a while. Don't have any razors, but it is what it is as far as that goes.
And what if you wanted to kind of clean up and shower, bathe yourself? What are your options? What can you do?
There really aren't too many options as far as showering and stuff goes. Unless wherever you're couch surfing at, they let you use a shower or stuff, and wash your clothes.
And most of the couch surfing, are these like trap houses, or are these like respectable people that you know?
Semi-respectable. They're not trap houses, no. They usually don't have any water or electric in the trap houses.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then so you get yourself up around 8 o'clock, then you go out and you panhandle, and how long do you do that for?
The first couple hours. Then you run down and try and find some crack. And then you go right back to panhandling, and then you run down and find some crack. It's an all-day thing.
So I've heard some people say they have this assumption. They go, oh, I look at that guy over here panhandling. I should quit my job too, and I could make $500 a day out there panhandling instead of going out to work. What is the reality? What is the average dollar amount that you would say you would make spending, let's say, an 8-hour day out panhandling?
You could probably make $100 doing it.
So you can make $100 in an 8-hour period. That's not too bad.
Depending on what store and stuff like that, and if you don't get kicked off the property. And
so are trespasses a problem for you? Have you been trespassed by Titusville police?
Nope, not by the police. You have to make sure to ask people on the way out, not on the way in. If you ask them on the way in, they're liable to tell the manager or cashier. Then you're kicked up. But on the way
so
out,
if you ask somebody for money, you make sure they've already made their purchase, and they're coming out with a receipt and change in their hand instead of on the way in where they can complain. So let's say you're standing at the corner of the 7-Eleven or CVS or some of these other businesses. Do they kind of ask you to leave and then they call the police on you, or how does that generally work?
You got to stay away from the windows where the cashiers can see you and stuff. But I have been asked to leave the property and this and that, so then away you go.
Okay.
Wait till the next shift comes on and right back on it.
Okay. And you said also you were receiving Social Security disability. I do not want you to say what your dollar amount is, but getting that, you qualify for some kind of housing through the Titusville Housing Authority and things like that, but they usually do have some kind of rules and things. Have you filled out an application with them? Or?
No, I haven't yet.
And how about rehab? You say you want to quit the crack. Have you reached out and tried to find any rehab services? Or
I guess they just really haven't been strong enough to do it. You always want to and say you want to, but then you just never seem to get around to it.
You think another part of it is the logistics of doing it? Like, okay, you're sitting right here, and they may be 15 miles up the road, and you don't have transportation, and they're not exactly coming to you saying, hey, we'll pick you up and we'll take you to this rehab facility right now. I guess maybe if they did that, it would make it easier.
Sure, a lot of them don't have beds open for you when you are brave enough to get there or call. You got to wait 2 or 3 weeks, for a bed to open.
And you may be in a different mindset in 2 or 3 weeks than the day that you called asking for the help.
Sure, or 2 or 3 days.
Or maybe depend on, I've heard some people on the street tell me it may depend on how far they are away from payday. If it's payday and they got money in their pocket, then all bets are off. They don't want to go to rehab. They are good.
Yeah.
It's when they're broke and they're feeling down from not having the drugs that they need that they
that's when you start thinking about rehab.
Okay. And what about some of the other people that are out here on the street? Would you say most of them are struggling with crack too? Or would you say it's heroin or meth? Like, what would you say is the most prevalent drug here in Titusville, if you had to guess?
I think the meth users, and then the heroin, and then the crack.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of that going on, and definitely worse.
Yeah. So I was asking you about safety and things like that. I can't imagine you get to go to some of the nicer parts of town to go in to buy some crack cocaine, right?
No.
I mean, you're not going in a gated community to go do that.
You're certainly not.
So do you feel safe around there? Have you ever had any, I mean, and there's other mentally ill people, that are out there trying to medicate themselves.
Yeah, you just steer clear of them. There's places you can go.
Okay.
Well, you know where to go.
Okay. And you have health care because you have disability, which means you could go to rehab, but like you said, the beds, that's an issue getting in. And what kind of places have you called? Have you called like Circles of Care or?
Yeah, Circles in Rockledge and up here in Parish, and they refer you to this place and that place, and pretty soon it just turns it into.
So it's a big circle. They give you one person gives you a phone number that leads to another phone number, which is what I have found too when I've called on behalf of other people. Is one phone number leads to another phone, and there's never this end of the rainbow. It just doesn't exist,
Yeah, frustration creeps up on you, and you just say the heck with it.
Yeah. Wow. So what do you think the end of this is? Like, how do you think you're going to get out of this?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I really don't see a bright ending for it.
So you haven't kind of given it long-term thought on how you're going to exactly get off the street?
Not yet, I haven't. Really should.
And what's your mental health like being out here? Does it make you really depressed?
Not so bad. I got a pretty good outlook on life. I mean, as far as hurting yourself or somebody else, I never think anything like that. So.
Okay. And how about your family and friends? Do any of your family and friends know what your situation is?
Oh yeah, most of my kids do, and they're like, until you stop, don't even bother coming by, blah blah blah. And they got kids of their own and really don't have room and stuff like that. So. Which
you can understand, because if you were in their same position, you would take this position and you would say, look, you can't stay here, you can't bring these drugs around.
Yeah, I don't have any hard feelings with the kids. I mean, they got their own lives.
Right. And I'm sure if you picked up the phone and messaged one of them and said, hey, I need a ride to rehab, they'd probably be right there picking you up and taking you on down the road.
Yeah, more than likely.
So, okay. How about other materialistic things like clothing? Do you have a lot of clothing?
Not too much, but you can always go to a couple of the charities around town and get some new clothes every morning.
Because you don't really bother to wash them, because it's not... it's just better to kind of throw them away and get something new. Is that kind of... That's what most people tell me on the street.
Sure.
It's easier to do that.
Right.
Okay. Wow. So, wow. I think we've kind of covered pretty much everything. Is there anything that you wanted to say, or is there any messages for anyone that watches this video that you may have for anybody?
I do. I wish that everybody would try their best to not get into the drug world, and at least if you do get into it, try to get the help you need.
Okay, that's a great message, and I wish you the best of luck. Are you on social media by chance?
No.
Okay, well, there is a Facebook group page called Homeless on the Space Coast, where people who are in need of things, meals or clothing or jobs or whatever, they watch these videos and then they want to get together and help people at times. So, but anyway, those of you who watch my videos, you guys can friend me personally at KEITHWOHR on Facebook. You can also join the Homeless on the Space Coast Facebook page, and as always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. These are real people, real lives. These are not actors. These are people living a tough existence here on the streets of Titusville and other places along the Space Coast. So I guess I'll close as always. May you be just as blessed as you have blessed others. And until next time, thanks for watching.